Boxing King Media are delighted to be joined by IBF flyweight world champion. I nearly said super flyweight. Sonny Edwards. Sonny, got to watch you train today. You look like you're in pretty decent shape. How was Christmas for you? Did you not eat much?
I enjoyed myself. I'll be perfectly real. I came back from Dubai with about 10 days. 10 days before Christmas. So obviously I was just doing what I don't know, 25-year-old lads normally do. Had a few nights out, spent a lot of time with family, my kids. Was down in London, me, my children, my brother, his children, my sister, my mum, even my dad was there. It was the first time in 14 years we've all been under one house, so it was a good Christmas actually. New Year's the same, but I've been back in the gym just before. I think I was only at the gym about 2 weeks, and I've been back on it straight away. Like the last week, I basically started camp even without no solid fight date, because I have a ballpark, and I've accepted a couple of fights recently, and I'm just waiting to find out if and when they get confirmed and announced.
All right, so you're not messing about, you're straight back in.
Straight back.
So now we've got the ice broken, so I've got some stuff that I want to speak to you about, because I've never interviewed you before. So one of the things that stands out to me is you're 25, you've got 2 kids, am I right in saying? Yeah, you're already a world champion. It feels like you've done a lot for a 25-year-old. Would you not say so? Did you plan your life out to be like that?
No, but I feel like I've always done a lot. I've always been quite busy, which is mad because I see myself as a very lazy person. Like, especially around training, I try and do as little around training for the whole camp. Like, I'm talking go gym, go home, and just try and wait for the next day. But even growing up, like I had a boxing career, obviously. I was a grammar school student, I went to university. I did like the Olympic volunteering, I did Wimbledon ball boying, I played every sport, from rugby, football, cricket, cross country, athletics, everything at school, like playing for a team, anything I could compete in, anything I could sort of do to keep me busy, I used to like, and that's probably why you see me get out of fights straight away, and as if my body is able to, I'm on to my manager and promoter, like, when's the next fight? What I've noticed in this boxing game is there's too many times, in sport in general, there's too many times you're sidelined without your choice. So when you can when you're firing all cylinders and your body's well and your mind's well, and do as much as you can. That's my approach and always has been. That's probably why I usually have fights quite in quick succession.
So you obviously mentioned being a manager and promoter. I feel like I'm talking to a 35-year-old rather than a 25-year-old. Moving on to your manager and promoting side that you're looking to get into. I spoke to Thomas earlier. You're signing up fighters all over the shop at the minute. When did that idea come about, and why are you getting into it?
So my goal is always and always has been to be fully involved in boxing for pretty much my life, to be honest. I don't think there'll ever be anything that takes my excitement or energy like boxing does. It's been a long time that I've been in the sport, and never do I sit here and start sort of looking for ways out, or I'm there planning my next 10, 15 years and how I'm going to get there. But boxing management is something that I've always, always been excited to look at. And if I'm perfectly honest, there's probably a handful of fighters you wouldn't probably need to guess too hard as to who they are, but good fighters in this country that come to me with like a lot of advice already, and have done for a while now. I have fighters approaching me all the time for opportunities. I have fighters approaching me all the time looking for changes in training or management or just advice, and it's always something, because I think I've got a good depth of understanding, especially for boxing, something I've lived firsthand. I've not been watching from the outside. I've lived every single level, from coming in green to, trying to make a name in the amateurs, to having to kind of, not struggle, but having to sort of work hard through the pros and take the opportunities when sometimes maybe you could have got more for that fight, but it's the value of the opportunity sometimes. And like, I feel like I've learned a lot, I've seen a lot, so something I always wanted to do. I also want to train fighters. Training fighters is a bit harder to do whilst I'm at the peak of my career. but something I definitely want to do as well, because I don't see any of this as work. Like, I'm 26 years old. Like you said, I've got 2 kids. I've been of independent means since I was 18 when I left London to go Sheffield for uni. That's the same year my mum went, you know, and fell ill. These times I weren't speaking to my dad, so I've been of independent means of 18 and never had a job. Boxing's always carried me through. So I'm 26. I don't feel like I've ever worked a day in my life, and why wouldn't I want to, you know, sort of branch out into managing? And you know, it was normally you sort of just wait for a prospect to come up, and that's usually people's entry route into the manager game, and then they make the mistakes on the fight there, you know. But talking to Lee and talking to Tom Stalker, who have been friends and not only friends in a personal environment, but on a professional one as well. I've worked, like Lee's promoted me, Tom's worked my corner for my debut and was helping me train and manoeuvre in Marbella when I was there on my own. So I've got a good team of people that I trust and I've got around me, and it's our collect. It's not like me employing them or anything. It's like we're a team split down 3 ways. But our approach to it was, well, everyone's got prospects, everyone wants prospects, but the people that really sort of get left out and just sort of get used and abused are the journeymen, are the away fighters. We don't really like the word journeyman. I prefer away fighter, club fighter, however you want to chop it up, because most of these fighters, especially the ones that go on to have 60, 70, 80 fights, they're very good fighters and they hold a lot of respect in the immediate boxing world. It's just outside of that it all falls apart. But we're just trying to get our fighters the longest notice for fights, the right weights as well. Like, I've already turned down a couple of fights for a few of the fighters that I've signed. Because bear in mind, at this very moment, I'm not a board licensed manager, so I'm just involved in the collection of people. But obviously, the other two have managers' licenses. So I'm not a licensed manager. I'm going to get that though. I'm in the process of getting my trainer's license. I'm going to get my manager's license, just get all box stuff. But right now, I'm advising the fighters. But already turned down a couple of fights, like good offers, but it's not the right weight. Like a Somba got offered a fight in Russia, Olympic gold medalist. Everything looked good, and then you see the weight is featherweight, and really he's a flyweight, super flyweight, but will fight pretty much anyone at bantamweight. The right fight's at super bantamweight, because he's only small. Like, you see him next to me, like our stamps aren't too far off. Yeah. But he's a very good fighter, a very dangerous fighter. Helps me a hell of a lot. And fighters like him, also another ex-opponent we signed, Pedro Matos. Fighters like him just want opportunities, and I feel like we're positioned quite well. And with our connections in the industry and our existing relationships, we're looking at the cards as their prospect versus to be arranged. When the cards are getting made 8, hopefully 10 weeks before the card gets made. So with that, we have that opportunity to get the fighters a little bit more notice. Make the fairer fights, and even as well give the prospects the better fights. You know what I mean? Because what happens a lot of the time is they'll have a fight matched up, and then a fight will fall through, and then they're ringing around the houses on fight week, and then the opponent doesn't want to take like someone like an Asomba at too short notice because it's seen as a risk, low risk reward, or probably the easier opponent they had before. But if a good fighter, a decent fighter, a prospect who's of a certain level for someone like Tom, if they're given 8-10 weeks and like a little title shot on the go, then it's more attractive of an offer for the opponent. Because like, we'll fight anyone, but like, you know, Thomas is in with me now. He's helping me prepare, helping me train for my fights. He's training in our gym, still sitting with Pierce Gudgeon, who's my assistant coach, and Grant's assistant coach, shall I say. So yeah, like, and there's a few other fighters that we've signed, quite a few actually. We're just trying to have like a collection of fighters that maybe can't sell tickets, or maybe are falling out of favour of promoters.
I see the name Show Savers.
Yeah. And we're like, it's kind of like a double entendre, because Like, they're going to be the show savers, but we're trying to save the show for them, because a lot of these fighters that we speak to are and are in it. Like, they want the fights, want the opportunity, but they get on Medal Cup for the year and they pay fucking £150 license fee, £600 brain scan, eyes, and all of that nonsense. And then they might fight once in 12 months because people aren't trying to fight them, or the manager they're working with hasn't got the connections, or is only getting them sort of last minute phone calls that trickle down to them. Do you know what I mean? It is sad, but we've already got like a collection of fighters. We've got a database already of fighters that's growing and growing. We're in the process of organising, like, you know, like set up camps in different regions to have like groups of fighters be ready. And
So we're talking hot countries.
yeah, no, like what happened with like the Nicaraguans and like Barcelona before, and, you know, similar stuff like that. Give fighters that are tough, that are fighting at, yeah, okay, sometimes they might be a level below, but we're not sending people to the slaughter. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to do that. Already we've got a few fighters at most weights where we don't even really need to do that. We have enough boxing intelligence, emotional intelligence as well, where like we won't just take, like, we're not savages. Do you know what I mean? Like, boxing means too much to us.
Like you said yourself, you are plotting for the next 20, 30 years. Your life's going to be boxing, isn't it?
For real, like, I don't want to speak too much because right now they're just visions and dreams, but like, the way I see Show Savers going is I want to be having annual shows where it's made up of just Show Savers versus Show Savers, giving them an opportunity, not having to sell no tickets, maybe a dinner show with all the entertainment. The show sells itself and the fighters get like maybe like a Christmas time thing like that. That's how we're looking to sort of give the fighters, where boxing has probably been so bad to them for most of the part. It's good to us as well,
Christmas
but
bonus.
do you know what I mean? And an event where, all right, you're not just coming as the fella that everyone wants to see get beat. Do you know what I mean? It's more of it's a different atmosphere, and then that would also probably, you know, carry on to the other fighters out there would see sort of what we're providing for the fighters, and maybe it'd paint us in a good light. Maybe not. I don't know, but it's exciting for me. Do you know what I mean? It is exciting for me.
And fair play to you for obviously wanting to do that. But talking and putting you in a good light, you know, when you read a lot of stuff about you online and see the stuff you tweet, you've obviously got a lot of you get a lot of negative feedback as well. A lot of people love the stuff that, you know, the straight talking. But I want to highlight something you did for this 18-year-old boxer, Mexican lady, Jeanette Zacharias, who died last year, you know, following an injury she received in a boxing bout in Canada. I don't think it was publicised anywhere, considering what you did. Do you want to tell us what you did, rather than me explaining?
Yeah, but it probably could.
I want to highlight it because I looked up into it last night. I was thinking it's not in any of the national newspapers in this country. There was a few foreign articles, and I thought there's not many boxers doing that. You didn't need to do that. You're in Sheffield, she's over in Mexico, and you went, helped her family out.
Yeah, I mean, the root of it was, if I'm being perfectly blunt and honest, for me, I would just, the way I am and the little shit I am and the little wind-up merchant I am, I just seen an opportunity to maybe just do something nice whilst highlighting an issue that's very close to my heart, and hand in hand, maybe open the eyes of, like, this should be a reminder of how dangerous the sport we are in. So when you've got, world champions being allowed to fail drug tests or fight within 4 weeks and become now an ambassador for the WBC clean boxing program, I've obviously been talking about Oscar Valdez, I just thought it was so ironic. So obviously I made the shirts, and I was just going to give them out at like a press public workout or something. It was just going to be one of them jobs. And then that news story broke the same weekend, maybe even the same day. I knew it was the same week that Jeanette died. And anytime I hear a boxer lose their life in the ring, even if I'm not one of them people that are always, oh, R.I.P., look how dangerous this sport is, people should give us more respect, because obviously there is, like, that's probably what, and but that, like the reason why I wouldn't speak on everything that's sad is because a lot of people do it just for like their own own social image, their own like, oh look how much of a good person I seem, do you know what I mean? But that's why I won't really care. I didn't do it for publicity. I didn't do it to be seen as a good person. I didn't do it, like, I seen the opportunity, and like what sat with me is probably like, I'm always big for the underdog. Like, and I don't mean to sound controversial or provocative, and if it is by any means, it's probably because I've worded it wrong. But like the fact that she was like a journeywoman, like the fact that she was going literally, not probably for boxing ambition as much, but to get paid and to make money for the family.
For that fight?
I haven't got a clue.
How much do you think? I found out yesterday.
Did you find out yesterday? I don't even want to guess, but I get it. Well, I know it won't be a lot.
£1,000.
£1,000. Let's see what I mean. So
that's before percentages.
Yeah. So the fact that it was a journeywoman as well probably made it like even worse. Which I know sounds mad because loss of but like this 18-year-old girl was going just to pretty much pick up a paycheck. Do you know what I mean? So it did. That's one of them lump in the throat moments. Even though like I never knew the girl, just thinking, imagine if that's your sister or that's your daughter or something. So yeah, it took me a while to reach out.
I was going to say, how did you manage to reach out to her family?
So obviously I put it on Twitter and stuff first. Not for publicity, but where else was I going to sell these shirts? You know what I mean? And like I weren't trying to bang on about it either. Just put the post up, and I had loads and loads of messages. Honestly, I could have sold 200, 300 probably. Like I was ignoring people and getting people messaging me screenshots like, no, we want more. Do you know what I mean? But I just tried doing it as stress-free as possible. But I got in contact with them. I put a message out publicly, and then someone who was connected with Russ Anbar in America, Mo Latif, who I think is like a trainer, maybe an old fighter as well, he'd already been into contact with them and sent money. So he put me into contact with the mum and dad, and it took a few days to sort of like verify it, because obviously with all these sort of stuff I was so skeptical, and I'd already seen posts and that saying, there'd been people in Mexico trying to get to the family because they knew people were fundraising. This is before I even thought about it. I think as I just thought about it, actually, I thought, oh my God, I hope I'm not speaking to the wrong person, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I made 40 t-shirts that was printed and made. My sponsor, Yield Gallery, provided them free of charges as part of it, so I've also got to thank them. It weren't like I said, it weren't just me. And then they sent the t-shirts, 40 of them. I sold them, it was I think I put like a minimum donation of like tenner, but whatever people wanted, and some people were putting like £100 for a t-shirt, and like a few people got behind it, and it touched them emotionally too. So yeah, got it sent over after a few weeks, did all the fundraising, and I think we raised about £1,500, £1,600, like not life-changing money by any stretch of the imagination, but like it probably stretches, I mean I know it stretches a lot further over in Mexico than that does here, and even if it can just, I don't know, even if it can just buy a day of doing something happy, like there was no like, I'll use this for this, obviously, it was just.
Did you get any feedback from their side?
Oh yeah, they were really thankful, and like sent a couple of messages and that, but like it weren't for any of that. They could have not said thank you. It was like, I just had a little brainstorm that instead of giving these t-shirts out for free that I was going to use for a marketing thing, because it was a Mexican fighter that failed, a Mexican fighter that was allowed to do it, and also a Mexican fighter that passed away. Like for me, it was just sort of like just all kind of fell in, and like I didn't want to be insensitive. Like that was the hardest thing. Like I was trying to be very careful about being insensitive or just sort of being overbearing, or just trying to put my fucking, oh look how good of a person I am, flag everywhere, because like I said, it really
Well,
weren't.
it didn't come across like that. Obviously I watch a lot of social media posts. It didn't come across like that, and the fact that it wasn't highlighted by anyone in this country. That's why I thought I'd bring it up today, and I think it's only right that boxing fans know what you did, and it's good for you to explain why you did it as well. Yeah,
but I mean, do you know what, with me as a person, right? People think a lot about me, and probably because I give them enough reason to think certain things. But anyone that actually knows me in a personal life knows what I'm like. And in my eyes, all we have in this world is other humans and connections and the memories that we have and share. Like, I feel like everything else, when you really sort of strip it down, is so material and it doesn't really matter. So I don't know, I'm in this sort of mindset where I always like doing a little bit of something good if someone's good to me. Like, ever since I was a young age, like, and it's gonna sound mad if it's like a weird brag, but like, it's just, I'm trying to explain the mentality I've always had. From a young age, if I had change in my pocket, like, from when I was a kid, I'd just round it down to the pound, but I'd always give, you know, like if you see like someone homeless or something, and it was my dad that taught me that, and the way he said it was like, it's luck money, do you know what I mean? You give and it comes back to you, and I live with that, like, I do things for good people, like, all the time. I don't feel the need to tell them. I don't want them to go around telling people, like, I'm good to my people, do you know what I mean? And if I can help someone, I've got the means to, which luckily I'm in a position where I'm doing very well. Like, I'm doing very, very well at the moment. Long may hopefully may it continue.
It's good values to have as well.
Yeah, but money don't dictate me. Like, it's like, so I'd probably get more out of doing a little bit of something nice, with a bit of thought, or I don't know, maybe sponsoring a fighter or buying their kit on a surprise, or whatever it may be. Yeah, I get a lot out of that, probably more than I'd get out of, I don't know, going and buying a nice fucking watch, or buying another car that I don't need, or fucking going and spending it on something, anything else. Like, I don't know, I get more out of that, and I think because of that mentality, even though I've never been sort of tight or hoarding with money, I've never really had too many money problems, even though I've always been having to work for it. Like, it just, everything always seems to hit the right cosmic timing, and this comes in, that goes out, you know, one of them ones. So, and I think it's just because of my rules with money. I think, you know, money's the biggest trap in this world, and a lot of people, most people, it clouds their perception of reality and what's really important.
Fair dues. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, if you do go down the route of Julio Cesar Martinez, obviously all the Twitter beef you've had with Team CANELO, and obviously Eddie's in with Team CANELO, you know, how's all that going to work?
Ed and Eddie. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Have you met Eddie Reneso before?
I've been in his company, not to speak to, but
since all this Twitter beef?
So like when, no. So like when the whole thing happened with Shane McGuigan, for example, Eddie Reynoso was there in that room. So was Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, WBC rep, IBF rep, I think. But yeah, so I've been in his company because obviously they brought over Martinez to diff up my brother, but it'd be fun. I think it'd be very fun.
When you guys come face to face, because I think sparks are going to fly.
Yeah, but I just don't know if they're going to fight me or not. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm here ready and willing and waiting to make that fight happen. They started putting out stuff, that his manager put out something, his Eddie, his advisor, Eddie Reynoso, put out that it's easy work for his boy, and all this, that and the third. He's put out they want to come to England. I was putting out that I want to go to Mexico. And I think we're just both trying to get paid more. But yeah, he's a good fighter. Like, I'll never discredit like his strengths and his attributes. But yeah, there's not one part of me that's avoiding, fearing, or not relishing that fight, because genuinely it's the fight I want.
And the other potential route for you is, you fought a super flyweight before. You got Estrada and Roman Gonzalez fighting very soon. Does that interest you, potentially moving back up? And because if you got Roman Gonzalez, that's a serious name on your record, isn't it? Yeah.
So right now this year, I'll see me operating, in my eyes, all in flyweight. I've got a big year planned, a really big year planned. Like, I've got 3 fights that I want to have and seem possible this year, right? That if I win them 3, I'll probably be in up for the British Boxer of the Year next year. Like, genuinely, like, if I win my next 3 fights, then I've sort of probably smashed it, if I'm perfectly honest.
When can fans expect to see any news of you fighting again, or
soon?
Against?
Soon.
We're talking a unification fight?
Trying to. If not, big fight. I don't want, like, my voluntary, I'll probably pick the biggest fight out there.
If it was to say the Zone, BT Sports, or a Probellum station somewhere, what channel we like to see?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm letting my management team deal with that. My advisor, Daniel Kinahan, I'm letting him sort out sort of the if, buts and wheres, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. But I know I'm in very good hands. I know I'm going to be fighting March, April times. Where it is, I don't know. When it is, I don't know. Just want to get busy. I didn't come out with too much injuries apart from a fucking axe wound at the top of my head for Mama. I'm pretty fit and ready to go. Like you said, I look in decent shape. I did the run this morning, didn't really get out of second gear, do you know what I mean? But obviously it's obviously the early weeks back training, so I don't need to come out and just start smashing everything to bits. Started sparring at the beginning of this week, like some light sparring. So yeah, I'm in a great place. Just trying to get. I want a meaningful fight. Like if short of Martinez, I want one that at least, yeah, maybe not the casuals will catch on to. Like that's probably my Martinez opportunity, you know, if I get that fight. But I just want to fight that at least boxing people, their ears will perk up a little bit and be like, yeah, that sounds. So there's a few names knocking about at the moment. But yeah, for my voluntary, I don't want. Let's fish up any sort of excuse for opponent to keep a world
You're
title.
after legacy fights and
straight away.
Fights are going to make you money and cement to make your legacy.
The intent of my career is that I believe I'm an elite fighter, and the more harder fights I take, the earlier, the more chance I got to prove it.
Just on the point you saying elite fighter, and again, I was looking into your box rec yesterday. Other than the one close scorecard by Ian John Lewis against, was it Nadi for 2 fights ago?
Moruti.
Yeah.
115, 113 is the closest scorecard I've had.
Yeah, that scorecard.
And that was me winning it, by the way.
And exactly. That's probably the only thing I can see on your record. Other than that, it's a clean sweep. Everyone you've fought, it's been easy. And that suggests that you are obviously levels and levels above everyone that you're fighting. So
yeah, like I've for a long period of time I hadn't lost a round for like most of my first like 8 fights or whatever. And then a couple of judges might have given 1 round against me in a couple of the fights, and then the only rounds I really lost clear until I think maybe even the Somba fight was when I got put down, and even then, before and after me getting put down, I probably won as well. Do you know what I mean? So,
sweet.
Like I think people find that over 12 rounds and the pacing of a fight, they find it very hard to win rounds against me. Because what usually happens is first round they get boxed off, second round they come out of a rocket up their ass. Halfway through the third round, they've run out of ideas and they're half tired now. So they can't keep up that because it takes a lot of energy to keep stepping through no man's land. Like the way I see boxing is like 2 trenches, constantly moving, and then fighters that are constantly running across no man's land and just leaving themselves acceptable. Well, not only are they tiring themselves out, but you're just walking them onto shots. And them wild fighters that don't really think too much about A to B, where they're planting their feet when they're throwing shots, and which is typically anyone that can punch a bit. They sort of spend their whole life punching hard and not really working on their boxing skills. So that's why I relish the big punches. You know what I mean? I feel like I can do more with them, with my style. I feel like I can negate them better. They get frustrated easier. It's more unfamiliar territory. When they're knocking everyone else out, a 12-round fight's annoying to them. They know a 12-round fight, you can barely land a shot. Now, I'm talking like them beating someone up for 12 rounds is annoying for them. Do you know what I mean? So just the way I look at boxing and the people in it.
Well, Sonny, it sounds like you've got an interesting year ahead. I just wanted today to be about fans, just to get to know you a little bit away from all the Twitter hype and stuff that you put on social media, because obviously I know you're a really decent kid away from social media. I'm not saying that you're not on social media, but you know what I mean. Is there anything else you want to tell the fans before we sign off?
No, just keep watching. It's going to hopefully be a big, fun, interesting year where I'm just in fights that at least some people are interested in. You know what I mean? Opponents you've heard of, high stakes, belts, ring magazines. Like my 2022, touch wood, inshallah, should be great. Like it genuinely should be like, this is my year. Like this is my year. I've been saying I haven't. It's not like I've spent the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years saying, oh, next year's my year. Because I don't say things until I genuinely believe them. And now every single day, I probably say multiple times a day that this is my year. I didn't even see last year as my year. This, I'm taking it up a notch. That's why I want Martinez. That's why I want the other unifications. Then go up, take it to America or wherever. Fight all the big names over there. Go up again, go down. Like, that's how I see my career playing out. I want to be here for a while. I want to have the fun fights. I probably will end up losing at times and even might get exposed at times. But that's gonna happen by me overextending my reach. Do you know what I mean? And that's fine. I want to find out where's a little bit too far. Do you know what I mean? Until then, I'm gonna keep calling out the biggest names. Like Martinez is who I want now. Then maybe go up. Then you like you mentioned, the Estradas, the Siscarets, the Quadrases, like Gonzalez. I think I already mentioned him. I don't know which one's escaping.
The Filipino guy, I can't remember his name.
And Crash Jerwin, who's one of the ones that I rate as highly as any of them. Like, genuinely, everyone always talks bad on him because someone like him and Dalakayan, when they have them boring reigns, like him, Dalakayan had one, Kawyafai before that, they get a lot of naysayers just on the basis of their range, you know what I mean? But these are very good fighters. Like even then up to bantamweight, and I don't think like I'm gonna stop or fly super fly, and you'll see me probably like my one of my goals.
Pacquiao where you can go up to us.
Probably not that far, but one of my goals that I've had in my head for a long time is that I want to win a world title at featherweight.
Now that'd be a serious statement looking at the size of you.
Yeah, but I don't think it is, because when I get in the ring, and especially when I'm not just 50.8 kilos because I've made weight, like if you come in, sometimes I'm heavy, I'm mid to heavy 60s, you know what I mean? And then when I'm in shape at like 63s, 62s, not in shape, but like fit, I'm sparring all the featherweights, super featherweights, lightweights, and they're not coming in and just dusting me up. Like, that doesn't happen. And no, like, that's never happened. Because I could get in with someone much, much bigger than me, and even if it was like, I'm just not going to let you hit me, like, I can do that to a certain degree, even if I'm not even landing on them or getting even remotely close to them. Like, I've maybe not mastered it, because I should be, the next 10 years, being able to work on it. But like, I'm cut from the cloth of like, the Woody Peps. You know what I mean?
One of my favourite fighters of all time.
One of mine. Like, I'm cut from them sort of cloths. What is it, Sven Otka? Who's the other one? The Nicolinci or whatever, isn't it?
Untouchable, he was known
Yeah,
as,
I'm cut from that cloth. We've got, and I can, when I watch them...
200 fights like them as well?
Yeah, I want loads. The problem is that when you start earning more, it's hard to it's hard to keep getting paid that same much, you know what I mean? You have to wait for it. But like, generally, that's the cloth I believe I'm cut from. Even like, with like, high praise to myself, like a Mayweather. I'm not talking being as good, as talented, as great, as famous as any of these fighters. What I'm talking about is, when I watch them fight, I see them approach boxing and react to the incoming information similar, at similar speeds, in similar methods to me. Like, and where I've always watched and absorbed a lot of boxing, but because so much boxing is always there to be absorbed, I always do the things that's concurrently going on right now, at current times. So I'm always like an expert of the field of right now, but then you'd be able to school me on the old fighters. Don't get me wrong, I've watched a few and I've known a few and I've seen the films and documentaries of a few, but now I'm going through a phase where I feel like now I'm at world level, I want to learn as much as I can from boxers, their lives, their careers, whatever access I can get onto, I'm watching, and not only that, because I feel like you learn a lot from watching someone else's maybe mistakes, their moves, but also just like appreciating the fighters that, obviously now it's in grey, black and white, like, but the fighters that in a different time were phenomenal, do you know what I mean? And certain fighters would have always been able to withstand any test of time across any era, I think. Someone like Woody Pep would have been one of those, whether he beats everyone, but probably not. He got losses, and I was watching, what was it, the Sadler series.
I think was it 11 or 12 losses, I think. Was it 23? It might be 23.
Yeah, I can't, but he fought Sadler like, what, 4 or 5 times or something. So obviously he could have got beat, but it was just like, for me, just that's just like an an incredible style that probably, I don't know what the attitude towards boxing was like then, but that style probably got more and more and more and more appreciated as the time went on and he went around no more. And it's like, how many fights did he have? Do you know what I mean?
200 and...
You know what I mean? It's like, even in them times of having that many fights, to do it at the
15 rounds as
level,
well.
but it's who he was fighting and that as well, because he did fight all the top lads around, you know what I mean, all the names. So, yeah, that's phenomenal. So, yeah, just studying and researching and trying to stay ahead of the curve, because history always repeats itself. It's got a funny habit of doing that.
Well, I wish you all the best, Sonny. And I hope you get to build the legacy that you've plotted 10, 15 years in advance. Thank you for speaking to us.
No, thank you, bro.
Cheers.